G'day guys, how you going? I'm Iski. Welcome to my YouTube video. And this is the second video, I guess, since I had my major house fire, which started in my bedroom thanks to a faulty electric blanket. But what I thought I'd do, the first video that I made was basically 2 days after the fire, and you couldn't really see that much. But today it's actually 2 months after the fire. So what I thought I'd do is show you now that I've spent the last 6 weeks cleaning my house out. Still looks very messy, by the way. Still a few things scattered around, but at least now I can show you in more depth the damage that smoke and soot actually has, you know, after a major fire. Yeah, so I'll be hopefully starting to clean at some point. I've been quoted $70,000 to basically have a team of people come in here and scrub and all of this kind of stuff, which there's no way I'm doing that. But I do want to try and do it myself on this channel and see what works best and what doesn't really work, and you know, maybe approach, you know, some websites out there that hopefully sell some dedicated kind of cleaning solutions, you know, for soot and smoke. But yeah, so as you most of my subscribers probably know, they watch my channel, that I make women's fashions for a living. And this is my corset showroom. This is where the girls come in and they see their corsets. I've got a change room over there. They go in and they try, you know, they wrap it around and jump out, and I lace them up. But you're probably used to seeing this showroom, you know, in better days. And while I'm talking, I'll stick up some photos of basically what this room should look like. In this video, like, I'm going to be basically this room. I'm going to show you the rest of my house, as well as the room that the fire was in. We'll just make our way around the rooms, show you the soot like I said before. But yeah, so this is my corset showroom, and you can see that basically on this, you know, back wall, this is my, if you've ever wondered about this window, this is my logo. I made it up in a LED light window. So it's kind of been a really cool window. It's got soot all over it. But yeah, so basically this wall down here, if you have a look at that photo, you can see that there's normally big cloaks that are open up. There's body forms wearing these cloaks, right? And you can see them in those photos. But if you see it now that I've actually taken those outfits down, it kind of looks really cool. I mean, I hate it because it's destroyed all my fashions. But you can actually see the imprints, the outlines of the cloaks on the wall, you know, so that's kind of cool but disturbing at the same time. And by the way, I'm not just going to be looking for products to clean the soot from the walls and things like that, just trying to find out what's the best methods. Like I said, I'm a fashion kind of guy. I do fashions for a living. I've actually had hundreds of thousands of dollars, or at least 100 grand's worth of my stuff that I've previously had made up just in a room upstairs. It's just smoky, it smells. There's certain things, garments that have soot on them. So hopefully I can find a product that can actually help me in that regard as well. We've been trying kind of certain just normal household detergents in slow wash machines and soaking and stuff. Sometimes we get good results, but not all the time. It's pretty depressing, but I do want to try my best to kind of, you know, fix up my clothing, because like I said, it's such a lot of money there. But anyway, so yeah, you can actually see, so this is my showroom. If we have a look at the ceiling now, can you see the ceiling? The funny thing about smoke and heat from a fire is this is a plasterboard ceiling, and if you have a look, you can actually see, you can basically see all the screws now. Even though each screw is behind plaster, this ceiling, by the way, was pure white. In fact, if you have a look here, this is where some track lighting, I just took off some track lighting. That's the color that my ceiling was. And yeah, I actually built this ceiling 20 years ago with a mate. I wasn't a big DIY back then, or at least I wanted to be, but I wasn't a big builder back then. But luckily today I am. So you can actually see here, yesterday I started pulling my ceiling down because I'll be rebuilding my house, which means taking all the wall linings off, all the, you know, ceilings off, upstairs at least, and this area downstairs. directly outside my bedroom, it's all brick. So we've got a lot of soot on brick and on timber beams. So you'll see that shortly. But yeah, you can see I've just started pulling off the plasterboard from the ceiling. So within the next week or so, hopefully I'll start building this back. So I'm about to also start taking these VJ sheeting off, and I'll kind of rebuild that. I do have some rotted boards, some rotted framework behind there, so I'll fix that up at the same time. But anyway, let's actually keep going. Let's, by the way, this big tarp that I got here, that normally leads to my home theatre. As most people know, a lot of people, I'd say more than half the people that subscribe to my channel are subscribed because of my home theatre. But yeah, there's normally a big cutout here and you walk straight into the home theatre. Well, obviously, because I'm actually using an angle grinder to cut this wall down, this ceiling down. It's just so dusty in here, so I've just barred that off so that, you know, it can remain kind of pretty clean, because it is pretty clean in there. But let's keep moving. All right. So basically, that room with all the light through there is the room that had the fire. So let's have a look at that quickly, just first. And no, nothing's been done in here because the insurance hasn't come through yet. In fact, it was only last week that I got my second quote, which is why as soon as they left, I just started pulling down my shop, because that's the first room that I want to do, because then that will become a storeroom for all my other stuff while I fix my other rooms. But if this is actually my bedroom, you can see way back there, hopefully you can make out my bed that caught on fire thanks to the electric blanket. But you can just see on the retaining wall that skirts the room, you can just see all that soot. If you have a look up here at the beams, there's a lot of that's just kind of, they are burnt, but it's not too bad. You can just sand that back. But there is some actual charring back there. I mean, this stuff that you see here, this is actually just a cover that was covering the beam, so I can just pull that off. But back there's definitely charring on the beams, and it's not that bad. It's 5 mil. I'd say the insurance company and the home restoration people would want to, basically pull them off and replace them, but there's no way that's happening. I'll just sand them back, because for them to do that, they have to replace all the floor above, and I don't want to replace my beautiful tiny floorboards with modern day stuff, So yeah, don't worry. I don't cut corners, but there's just no reason to bring it up to kind of the standards that certain companies have to abide by when they're doing insurance jobs. It's just sand it off with a flapper disc and you'll be right. And then paint it, and obviously I'll put Villeboard back up there anyway with ceiling tiles, because I do love ceiling tiles. But I wish I'd brought my my torch. I don't know if you can make this out. Can you see that? That's actually the fuse box, the circuit breakers. So yeah, that's why I don't have electricity, and I'm just kind of using my neighbour's power at the moment. But if you have a look over here, there was a really big mirror here. You can see the bottom of it there. Massive mirror, and you can just see all the soot. Everything, by the way, that you're seeing, all the brickwork, all the timber should be white. And I know that for a fact, because when I was 16 years old, I painted it. I was the one that painted it, but you can see down the bottom there, you can just see all this soot. I mean, in this room here, it's incredibly difficult to get it off. I mean, I scrub, and I've scrubbed certain areas and I can't get it off. So hopefully there's some kind of detergent out there that will help me. But yeah, anyway, let's just pull back and I'll give you another quick look before we look at other rooms. Okay. Anyway, so let's turn our eyes, let's just turn around. I'm going to turn this spotlight around and you can see outside now. Alright, there we go. Now, as soon as you walk through the door, a lot of people in my video see me walking out the door and through that door. You can actually see, like I said, everything in here should be pure white, including all these beams, joists, the underside of the floor up there. That should be white, because I painted it when I was 16. But there you go, white, 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 soot, 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 soot. Now, the beauty of this, I know it looks terrible, but the beauty of this stuff here is, with a bit of detergent and scrubbing, it actually comes off. It does come off. There are certain areas that are very difficult to get off. Like the main area is basically, this is my man cave. This is directly outside my bedroom, and if you saw my first video, I kind of showed you, here's a little kitten coming up from next door. He's got 2 little black cats, so he's probably going to bug me. Yeah, so around that, where that bit of ply is, I had a plasma in the first video that I made, and yeah, you saw it was delaminated. So I think what's happened is that most of the heat has hit the surrounding bricks around that TV, right? And what's happened is I can't actually scrub that off, or at least this is the best that I can do. This is the best that I can do, scrubbing that off. I mean, it does make a difference, and that might be okay, but it would be nice if I could get most of the black off. But I'll actually show you a spot just over there, actually, that I did just use a bit of hot water and just a rag with water on it. It didn't even have detergent. Let me just grab this light. There you go. I mean, that brick took me like, I don't know, 20 seconds, and you can actually see it came up really well, and I think it came up great. This is textured brick. It's probably the worst brick ever, but the fact that I'd painted it, I think, really helps the cause. So because I painted it with gloss as well, so it seems to just wipe off, you know, on that side of the wall quite easily. This one over here, like I said, it's a lot of scrubbing, but I didn't really use any detergents at all either. But anyway, so let's just walk out and stand back, and I'll just do one big pan of this, and we'll quickly look over here, and you can see there, it's all, everything. There we go, the back of the door. So I've got a lot of cleaning, because like I said, 70 grand is what I've been quoted. And I mean, see this staircase, I'm just going to sand that back. It's just timber, and that staircase was at one stage in the 70s, when I moved in, when I was born, that was an external staircase, so you walked out, that was outside at the time. Anyway, let's keep moving. I'll just grab this light. Okay, now I'll quickly just show you these, because otherwise I'll forget about them. All of these are body forms. You're probably wondering, they were my corset body forms, and I've made a video, I'll release it a bit later on, where I'm scrubbing the hell out of these things in the backyard. Interesting video, actually. But yeah, you can see, you know, some of them came up pretty bad, like these two just here. They didn't really come up that great, but there was like, I don't know, maybe a third of them turned out really well, looked great. I think it just depended on what height on that display that these body forms were, because the higher up, the hotter it is, and the more soot there is. As you can see with the walls, you start, you know, with white, and you move up, and it just gets sootier and sootier and sootier. But yeah, so there's a video coming out where I'm cleaning those. But if we look up here, you can actually see the colour that the timber should be, white. I'm looking into maybe getting like a dry ice blaster, but we'll see if that's going to happen, and I might be able to do the timber, because I think the timber is going to be the hardest thing to do, to be honest with you. In fact, if I move over here, I'll show you. I did wipe some down, and if you look on this side, see, that's actually just with water. I didn't even use any detergents. If I pull back, you can see what it was like. So maybe it will turn out okay. I'm not sure, but I'd still like to kind of try some dedicated, you know, products that are designed to, you know, the stuff that these cleaners would have used. I've seen some sites on the internet, and one of them looks pretty damn good, so I'll be approaching them, that's for sure. And this in here was my tool area, which you can't really see, but it's pretty much blacked out if you have a look at that wall over here. you can just see exactly what colour it should be and what colour it is now. And that spot up there, that's another test spot that I did. I just wiped that with some water, a damp rag, and honestly I think we'll be pretty good. If I look over here, I don't know if you can make this out, it's pretty dark. There's some louvers there. Well, those louvers lead into my bedroom, so there were flames coming through this those louvers, and I don't know if you can make this. This is actually a big set of shelves. I mean, there were solvents, there were like the most flammable stuff, paint, everything. It was just in there. I can't believe this house didn't go up, you know. I just got really lucky. But I'm lucky as well, because all of that there are actually flooring that I've stuck against the wall, because they were it's where I kind of put all my tools, and down here as well. So hopefully those bricks don't need to be done too much. In fact, just looking through the cracks, yeah, they look pretty good. But doesn't mean anything, because I know a lot about soot now, and it gets in everywhere. So let's have a look over here. Let's have a look here. So you can see here as well. So it's everywhere. If we look up though, you can actually see that half of my room underneath the house, and apologies for this light, this half over here doesn't have plasterboard up there. And this, by the way, this area here was my sewing area. This is where I used to sew all of my corsets before this. But this half of the room over here, this half, basically this is where my cutout table, and I used to do all my cutting out and work over here was. But for the last few years, that's where I stored a lot of TVs. But you can see that that's got plasterboard above it. So I'm hoping, you can see up here as well that it's all been like blocked off. My dad at some point has kind of plugged every single joist cavity off. So I think once I take this plasterboard off, because obviously I'm going to be, you know, replacing all of that as well as the cornice. You can even see up here, that's plasterboard that runs just underneath that cornice all the way around. I'm pretty sure I'll be lucky that that won't need to be done. And that actually goes all the way back through to that man cave area that I showed you, where that big plasma TV in that first video, where that ply is, where that was delaminated. So yeah, there's like drywall, plasterboard. It's just, hopefully that's going to make life a lot easier. But this side, no. But that's another thing. I'll just quickly show you here. Up here, that's another test spot that I did with a rag and some damp water, and you can see it just came off really easily. Even in where the mortar is, it just wiped off. And when I rub my finger, it's nice and slippery, and that's just because it was gloss paint, I think. So yeah, anyway, let's keep going. You can see down here, by the way, just see all this dribbling from the condensation and stuff. There was a window here, but I've pulled it out. I wish I had kept it. I've only pulled it out just recently when I was doing a video for my home theatre. I needed to basically just bar it off, but I threw the window out. I'm spewing, because if I had kept that window, I could have put it on the window of my bedroom, because that's now destroyed and burnt out. But anyway, I'll have to buy one. So guys, let's keep going. Let me just pull back here so you can get another idea. Okay, so a lot of you guys know that I am doing a home theatre. So basically I did a temporary wall here, because I'm going to be bringing in some high pressure hoses. So what I thought I'd do is build a wall. There will eventually be a wall there, but in fact what I might end up doing, because there's a retaining wall down there, you can see the retaining wall, I haven't actually finished this off, so it hasn't been capped, and I do have some really good drainage that I kind of put in there when I first did this house. When I first built that retaining wall and my home theatre, which by the way is down there. So what I might do is, when I bring the pressure hoses, I might just knock out that bit of framing down there and let the water just drain in behind that retaining wall. How good would that be? So yeah, Anyway, let's keep going. This is my home theatre. Let's just walk down these steps. We got some nice white footprints there. They weren't there this earlier today, but because I walked through my shop and picked up all the plasterboard, that's what happened. But this room, I initially thought this room kind of copped it pretty well, to be honest with you. But I think it's because it was a darker room anyway. You couldn't really tell. And yes, my screen here was out that far. And I'll be doing a video where I wind it out. It looks really white and beautiful, doesn't it? I'll do a video where I wind it out, and you'll get to see exactly what it looks like now. It's sad. Anyway, let's keep going. But yeah, pretty much what I did within the first couple of weeks is I actually got a big industrial carpet cleaner in, and I cleaned my carpets. And then I also cleaned my lounges, because I've gone to a lot of trouble with my lounges, finding those and repairing them for my channel. I didn't want to just toss them straight out, but there are a couple that I will throw out, like that seat over there. I literally just fixed that up, and that one at the back there, it didn't scrub up that great anyway, but I want to get rid of that anyway. It's the wrong color. But you can actually see up here, look at the this is a major I-beam. This holds the entire deck above up, and that is built into the soffit, so I don't have to you don't have to see it. It's hidden, but you can just see all the soot and stuff underneath it. In fact, if I shine the light up the back there in the corner, can you see that cladding? In fact, we'll go for a walk. That is white cladding. And I made a video the other day, and you can actually see how white it is. Yeah, but if you look now, you can actually see what it looks like now. So that's evidence. There's just as much soot came in here. But yeah, it's interesting. You look at and I mean, these walls are different to any home theatre wall that you'll see. I'm building them out of MDF, and there's a reason for it, which I'll go into later in another video. But you won't see the MDF. They're going to be fabric walls, but you can actually see the color of the MDF compared to what it should be like. In fact, I'm not sure if this is a really good example. Oh, there you go. That's what it should be like, and now they're really dark. So, I mean, I literally just put these up. They don't smell. I don't know what to do, whether to just wipe them and maybe sand them, but I'll work it out later. And maybe paint them, but it doesn't matter. Like I said, they're all going to have different layers of stuff on them. But yeah, anyway, let's keep going. Have a look down there. All my projectors. These are all my projectors that I'd fixed, and look at them now. I'll be doing videos where I actually go into them and basically, because there'd be mirrors and things like that in those projectors, and the soot would have got in there and kind of put a thin layer on them. Who knows, maybe even the black levels could be even better. I'll do some turn-ons as well. But yeah, my main projector up there, it copped it, although I haven't actually tested any of these things out yet. I've only tested the screen. You can have a look up here. This is like the soffit edging that I still hadn't finished, but it was pure white, and now it's all kind of discolored. So I'll either replace that or wipe it down and paint it. I'm not really sure. Probably just replace it. But and the twin wall ceiling, yeah, it copped it. Like, that's magnetic, right? It's all magnetic, and that was actually, luckily I had all of these safety frames up here, these bits of safety, and that's just in case the ceiling falls down, because it's magnetic. It never has over the last couple of years. I've had wind through here, and that's never come off. It's been really strong, but just the heat that came in through here was enough to detach it. I don't know what heat has to do with anything, but when I came in, all of the linings, all of that twin wall was kind of fallen onto the safety bars. And yeah, so I'm not sure if I'm going to replace that. I probably will, because it's opened at the end, so just wiping it down, I'm not sure if it's going to help. But I'll do a dedicated video for my cinema. But just remember that these sheets will be wrapped up in velvet in the end anyway. So I might be able to just wipe it down, and I might be able to just put some of that silver tape on the edges at the ends, but I will work it out later. But if we have a look through here, you can actually, I don't know, hang on, you can see up the top there, that's more cladding. There you go. Can you see it up there? So what I think I'm going to do with that cladding is I'm going to unbuild all of this. I don't want to show you too much because it's going to ruin future videos, because I haven't shown anyone yet. But what I'll end up doing is unbuilding all of that stuff there, and I think I'm going to remove all of that cladding, just toss it and put plasterboard up, and the same with that stuff up there. Sounds like a plan. I may even remove that later on today, because I'm going to remove that entire wall when I rebuild the showroom. Anyway, let's keep going because this video is going to go forever. So this are my stairs. Let's just walk up the stairs. So this is upstairs, and you would think that, yep, you'll be right upstairs, there was no fire. Wrong. Look at this. There was a picture there. There was a picture on that wall, and you can actually see the colour of the soot all around it, and yeah, it sucks. Even down here, this was once the external of the house, like in the 1970s. See down those chamfer boards down the bottom, it got so hot that the paint full on buckled, and I'll show you. You can actually go, I don't know if you can see this, you can't see it. You might be able to hear it though. You might be able to hear it. Let me just that's how much the paint buckled and bubbled, I should say. And yeah, so I think when I rebuild this part of the house, the upstairs, I'll remove all of those chamfer boards as well, toss them out and put plasterboard. Anyway, let's quickly move through the house. This is the dunny, we call them in Australia. I haven't called it a dunny for ages. It's a toilet, it's our toilet. So you can just see all of my house was pretty retro. I don't really live upstairs that much, as you can see, and my bathroom was always basically the same as it was in the 80s, so I'll be getting a new bathroom soon. But you can see that's the shower, and you can see the walls. And yeah, we've actually cleaned the bench top and the floors. You can't really see, but can you see down there on the tiles in the corner? They're jet black, and that was all through the house, downstairs and upstairs. All over the cork tiles was that jet black. This room here was my room growing up as a little boy, and yeah, it's the only room in the house that I have polished the floor. Well, Mum and Dad polished the floors before they moved out like 25 years ago. But you can see they're beautiful, these floorboards, so I don't want them ripped up if somebody else comes in. And if you look over here, you can actually see what I was talking about, how black the floor was. I just left some of it on there so I could show you in this video, and show it so I could show future insurance people. Yeah, but if you have a look at the walls here, the majority of the walls upstairs are covered in, you know, wallpaper. So if I wanted, I could literally just pull the wallpaper off, soak the walls down, put new wallpaper up, or paint it. But no, we've had it all tested as well, or the insurance company did, and this is all asbestos. Up in the ceiling, it's all asbestos. And you can see here the nails. I mean, this was a pure white ceiling, and you never saw the nails because they were all painted, and they've attracted soot, so you can actually see exactly where all the nails are quite easily. Even through the wallpaper, mind you, you can see it. But yeah, so I think it's probably a good time for me to rip all the asbestos out and replace all the asbestos in the house. Like, I don't really care. It's more my mum and dad that care about it. I don't care because I plan on dying in this house, so it doesn't bother me as long as it's, you know, covered or painted. Anyway, I keep going. This is the kitchen, my retro-y kitchen. Yellow laminate. It's been like that ever since I was born. But now it's black laminate. You can see the door. I wish I brought my torch. Can you see the tiles? This is from a fire that was downstairs. it's just everything's destroyed. So I've made a decision. I am rebuilding myself. I'll do all the work. I'll put new plaster in. I want to do improvements as well. If we turn around and look back down that way, you get a better idea of what the kitchen looks like. Okay, so there you go. So when I say improvements, this here is the lounge room over here. It copped it big time as well. But yeah, I want to kind of pull out that. I've got a there's actually a structural engineer that lives a couple of doors down. He's going to come over and check it out for me to make sure I can just pull it out without, putting in extra beams and things like that. He's great. He came over and he reckons just by sight it looks okay, but he'll jump up in the ceiling and check it out. But yeah, I think when I rebuild, I'll pull that wall out, most of the wall, and do an open plan thing with my lounge room. If you come over here, you can see where the TV was on the wall over there, and how everything is just destroyed. This is one of the the feature walls that were is it cypress that were really popular in the 80s. I mean, that will probably mostly go, but I've got a few of that. I mean, if you have a look over here, this used to be the outside veranda in the 70s, but Mum and Dad enclosed it, right? And they put all of this cypress around there. So what I might even do is just clean that down with, I don't know, some product and maybe sand it. And I'm thinking about just painting it. I reckon it'd look really good painted. And then we have straight through there my deck, which we'll have a look shortly. That's something that I built a few years ago. In 2017. But if we keep going around here through the lounge room, this was my little sister's room growing up. You can just see all the soot and smoke damage there. One of the other improvements that I want to do when I rebuild is put all of these out, wall sliding doors. I want to do internal cavity sliders like I'm going to do downstairs with my home theatre. So it's a good opportunity to do that. Pull all the wall linings off, put wall cavity in wall cavity sliders in, and yeah. So this room, those windows over there are basically directly above my bedroom. The bedroom window, that's all smashed and broken. Well, these were closed and the flames came up past them, or at least to them. But you can see this window here. It's actually cracked from the heat. If you have a look. I want to have the exact same windows put back, or at least, I mean, all the insurance companies are saying they have to be replaced, and I'm looking at them thinking, no, you just wipe them down, just scrub them up, they'll come up okay. And I think they're called, is it hopper windows? But I love them. I just really like the hopper windows. But if I move over here, you can see this room is just painted. There's no wallpaper on this room. But you can just see. And the other really helpful thing when I take all of this asbestos off is that I could literally see if there's any soot inside the wall cavity on the cladding on the other side, and I can wipe it all off as well. This wardrobe will have to go, and we have a lot more soot, and you get the general idea. And now this room over here was my brother's room when we were kids. Let me just get this light. And for the past 20-something years, it has been my stock room. And you can see this is where a lot of my stock from my fashions are kept. Like I said before, $100,000 worth of stock. It smells smoky, and a lot of it just has, bits of, slightly darker spots and areas. It just sucks. So I'm hoping I can find some kind of detergent, especially for fire stuff. I think I have seen something online that I can get. But look at these. These were wedding dresses that I'd made years and years ago. I probably would never have sold them, but it was good to hold them and maybe display them in the future. And you might think that, oh, it's in plastic, it'll be fine. No, anything that was in dry cleaning bags, and a lot of it was in dry cleaning bags on my display downstairs, It's worse. It is 10 times worse than anything that was, and it's really weird. It's like the smoke gets inside and it just gets trapped. You can see up the top there. So, and this is another one of those feature walls. So yeah, I was going to just pull them off, but then I thought that would look really cool if it was painted. So in the future video guys, future video. That is sad. That is my Nana's wardrobe. She bought that, I don't know, probably back in the 50s or 40s or something. Probably, I think 50s. And I've always had it, and I think it's destroyed. It's going to go to the tip. Anyway, have a look over here and we'll go outside again. Alright, let's keep moving along. And by the way, this is the external door for the front of the house. I don't know how it got all of that soot, and it must have gone through the cracks, and you can see, so that this is the side that was outside, all of that condensation and stuff just running down. It sucks. Let's have a look at the other side. Wow, you can actually see the ribbing inside the door. It must have been so hot, even upstairs. Okay, so a lot of you guys know on my channel I fixed dryers. When I first started the channel, I used to do most of my repair videos on my front porch, and used to have dryers everywhere. There's pretty much no dryers anymore, maybe one, but everything's been taken out of my house. I've moved it, I've thrown a lot of them out. I've got videos of me scrapping them, but if you have a look at this wall over here, can you see that? So that's what I was saying, inside the framework of the wall. Looks like the smoke has got up and it's actually started pouring down. So basically this room here, which was that room that I was just in with the fashions, that is directly above my bed. And yeah, so yeah, and you can just see other evidence of smoke. Anyway, let's go and have a look at my deck. Let's check the deck out. I don't have any light in here, but you might be able to see. So in 2017 I built this deck, or at least I had a builder build it. It was probably a little bit out of my kind of scope of work, so I didn't feel confident enough to do it. Instead I spent well over 70 grand just to build this deck, and yeah, anyway, let's not think about the money. So the ceiling for this, the roof for this deck is what they call solar span, which is like a trim deck, or you can get it in corrugated iron, and then it's sandwiched in between that, is it polystyrene or something, as an insulator, and then on the underside they put this tin, which is what this is, and it's painted a really nice, I don't know, is it surf mist white or something like that. I used to love watching my TV, sitting down here and always kind of looking up at my nice white ceiling. Well, it's not white anymore, it's actually yellow, and I don't know if you can make this out if there's enough light. You can actually see right in the corner there the colour that it should be, and no. So that is basically when the insurers come in, they bring the housing restoration people in, they just say, yep, that'll be replaced. So I don't really see the need to replace it, but I will wipe it down. It's not going to come back with just wiping it down, but once it's, you know, wiped down, I can get an airless sprayer in here and spray it. I won't do it because I'm not familiar with them, but I do know people who are just masters at it, so I'll just get, you know, a guy to come in and spray the ceiling. But yeah, this entire floor down here was just black. I mean, I found this floor at the dump, believe it or not. I found this floor at the dump. I loved it. I laid it myself, and that's basically what it was like before my dad came in and wiped it down. And you can see on this side over here, we don't have any coverings. I was going to put tiles down at that end, but no, it wasn't fast enough. It doesn't really matter, but you can see there that all of this stuff has been affected by soot. All the windows, which I'm going to be making videos in the future, or at least I was going to make videos of the future of me building my own bifold windows out of casement windows, which I'd been collecting. You can see I've actually paid $10 each, not even, some of them were $5, for these really old casement windows that are really sturdy. They're all timber, silky oak. I was actually going to turn those into bifolds, and because I got quoted like 40 grand for timber ones, and I'm like, oh, stuff that, I'll make them for like $500, and I think they'll turn out great. I think that's probably still going to be on the cards, but not for a while, but they do need to be cleaned. Everything on my deck is recycled. All of this stuff, the bench tops I found at the tip, it's all really expensive Merbo stuff that people have thrown away. This sink, I don't want to show you too much, but I think that can be wiped down, scrubbed down. That cost $1,350. It's a laundry sink, but because I make a lot of curries, I needed a deep sink. But I had like fridges and stoves and ovens underneath all of this stuff, which I've pulled out. I'll end up throwing most of this stuff away, I think. Well, at least that part. I'll probably throw out that gas burner as well. I'm not sure yet. But I made this really nice splashback over there that's just covered in soot. I don't know if you can see it. It's actually an LED splashback, and I made it out of those glass bricks that I cut up, and I put LEDs behind it, and I'll go into that in another video. But yeah, it's just sad. Hey, I bought all of this laminate flooring to actually put on this deck. I still might do it. I'm not sure. I'm not really sure. It was just sitting there, so it did get hit, but we'll see how bad later. But yeah, everything just looks a little bit darker. So I told my neighbour, I said, oh, see, I can just replace all of that villa board. And he said, why replace it? Just wipe it down. And I thought to myself, yeah, I think I've been listening to these housing restoration people and the insurance people a little bit too long. That's probably all I need to do. I mean, these bifold doors, I don't think I've really ever closed them. I installed them, I found them for $1,000. They're all like, soot does weird things to certain, I mean, this came up okay, like certain surfaces, metal surfaces, alloys and things like that. Yeah, it can leave pitting and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, anyway folks, that's it. I'll do more of a video on this outside area, you know, down the line. This is everyone that's come over to look at my house, all these worker guys, they've just pointed out my Jack Daniel's bottle chandelier. I made this out of all these Jack Daniel bottles that I found at the tip, and it's really industrial. It's with all that oh shit, you know, the pipe. Yeah, so but the funny thing is I don't drink. At least I don't really drink. I don't drink spirits. I just like the shape of the bottles. But yeah, that looks really cool when it's turned on. But future video. But all I really want to do first up is to get, I'll talk to you while I go downstairs. All I really want to do first up is to get downstairs sorted out, cleaned up, painted, and my bedroom fixed up, carpet in there, and my shop, home theatre sorted. And the deck shouldn't be that difficult. I reckon I can do all of this work within the next 2 months, 2 to 3 months maybe. And once I can do that, at least I can move back in. I'm at my mum and dad's at the moment, which is cool. I like living there. But I'll tell you what, I've put on so much weight. My mum just keeps feeding me, and our dad both of them keep feeding me. And yeah, I've lost my my self-control when it comes to eating. So yeah, anyway, but I'll move back in shortly if I get the downstairs area and my deck finished, because I only ever cooked on my deck upstairs. I never used the kitchen upstairs. I can move back in. But guys, that's my video. Sorry it's taken such a long time. I'd like to say thanks for watching. Hopefully you've got some idea of what I'm up against. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want to see future videos, especially smoke soot related videos. I'm going to be trying to clean everything the best I can, maybe using multiple methods, seeing what works best, what doesn't work. And yeah, guys, thanks a lot. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.